Roethlisberger. Inside bound, and it is a touchdown. Martavis Bryant living up to the challenge.
Remember this one? Welcome back to a special Killer Bees episode of 5-Star Matchup. If you like the channel, please subscribe now and consider joining our Patreon to show your support. Let's roll that clock back to January 9th, 2016 for one incredibly fateful trip to Cincinnati. It's Ben Roethlisberger and the 6th-seeded Pittsburgh Steelers taking on the 3rd-seeded and Andy Dalton-less Cincinnati Bengals in the wildcard round of the AFC Playoffs. 2020 Steelers fans will weep at the ease with which third-string runner Fitzgerald Toussaint was able to grab this chunk against a good D. Running used to be a thing. Drive stalls on a flip to Heath in a play we've seen 1 or 2 million times to Hines Ward and Juju over the last couple decades. While the Bengals were without their quarterback, the Steelers' defense of 2015 was without a true identity. Despite their inconsistencies and weird amalgamation of old guard and young pups, they could always get after the quarterback, and Steeler legend Debo grabs a nice sack of young A.J. McCarron. Gotta love the hustle for the then 37-year-old linebacker. Now with the Steelers backed up, it's more Fitzgerald Toussaint as he runs one and catches one, and he'll always be remembered for the fumble in Denver, but the guy filled in admirably, I thought. Bonus late hit on Roethlisberger. As if the tone wasn't already set between these rivals, cue a great run by UConn's own Jordan Todman of all people, and Mike Goatchak is starting shit with a Bengals defender. Salt levels rising. On to the second quarter now, and I just need you to know how close we were to a Willie Gay playoff touchdown dance in this one. Oh, what could have been. Man among boys here as number 97, you know him as Godzilla Hayward, finds a lane and ruins A.J. McCarron's whole damn life with this beautiful strip sack. I know they're playing a backup quarterback, but for the 2015 Steelers defense, they're dominating. You know I'm always fair even when I hate it, and I always thought this Bengals defense was vastly underrated. Second in the league in points, and guys like Atkins and Dunlop up front, always ferocious. Achilles heel though, as they got an unsportsmanlike and keep the Steelers' drive alive. More plays we've seen since the Wisenhunt era, as Ben swings this one out to Marcus Wheaton, who's immediately taken a beating, and puts it on the ground, ending the most promising drive so far. This one's for the Bud sucked until last year crowd. While the Steelers' offense has so far been bad, the Bengals has been putrid, and peep this lame duck that a guy named Hodges could have thrown better, and it's picked off by coverage wizard and shockingly starting corner Antoine Blake. Nice play by Blake, but I don't ever want to hear any complaints about Joe or Nelson ever again. More running with a 4th string back, and I'm just putting it in to make 2020 Steelers fans weep at our current lack of a running game. It's not rocket science, guys. Let's figure it out. 2nd and 25, and you knew it was only a matter of time before the man they call AB makes an appearance, and you can see the unbelievable chemistry between him and Ben as the route and ball placement are just perfect. Man, that guy was good. Steelers want, but don't get a PI on 3rd. But that's okay because they send out young baby Boz, who's been a legend since the start, and you know a little rain ain't messing up my guy. Steelers grab the lead, 3-0. Just Ryan Shazier things. For those wondering why I say Mike Mitchell is my least favorite Steeler of all time, this play could not do a better job explaining it. Ball is overthrown and Blake is right there, and as the ball floats past him, Mitchell puts his shoulder down and lights up his own teammate instead of even thinking about making a play on the ball. You can even see Will Allen raise his hands as if to say, what the hell? Back on offense, and it's more of the Fitzgerald Toussaint show with a beauty of a catch and run. In rhythm now, Ben finds AB on a crosser like so many times before, and I'm not sure Sevens ever had a better cheat code than 84 on a crosser. Just unguardable. 2nd and 15, and Ben drops and fires just a picture-perfect throw to Marcus Wheaton, who should have been better than he was, and he gets absolutely lit up by Sean Williams for a personal foul. If it wasn't already clear, these two teams are doing everything in their power to kill one another. Uh-oh moment for Big Ben, who underthrows an open AB and is very, very nearly picked in the red zone. As good as this offense was between the 20s, the red zone was a different story entirely. Baby Boz tacks on another 3, and despite dominating, the Steelers find themselves up a measly 6-0 at half. On to the third quarter, and when you let teams stick around, they're only a play or two away from changing the game. Cue a nice Jeremy Hill run for a chunk, and I would remember this name because it's gonna be important later. Haters gonna say it's Photoshop, but just for a moment, Jarvis Jones pretends he's back in the SEC and gets a strip sack on AJ McCarron, and yet again we're robbed of a true Willie Gay playoff celebration as the big number 93 Cam Thomas is ruled down before he fumbled it. Either way, the turnover stands. We've talked about the Killer Bees' ability to suddenly flip a game, and check out this play by Vontaze, who takes a reverse, pulls a little double, and reverses back again for a field-flipping play. I've used strong words for Marty B in the past, and I stand by them. This dude was rare. Spectacular play. More red zone ineptitude for Ben and Coach Todd as they go for it all on 3rd and 6 to, of all people, DHB, and the drive stalls out again. Luckily, the legend of Baby Boz continues to grow, and the Rook drills it home for a 3rd time. Steelers 9, Bengals nothing. More brilliant Mike Mitchell play here, as there's no one else deep on his side of the field, and he's not even in the picture when AJ Green catches this one. Hell, if AJ's momentum wasn't carrying him out, he probably would have jab-stepped Mitchell and taken it to the house. Back to the offense, and it's more of that zany Ben and AB magic. Looks like they're setting up for a screen, but under intense pressure, Seven decides f*** it and lofts it over to the future Mr. Big Chest, and he starts dodging defenders like they were furniture falling from a balcony on his way down to the 10. Just an unbelievable play that had no business happening. But that's the magic that these two had together. Shame. 2nd and goal, and eventually someone's gonna make a play, and it's number 10 who pulls a rabbit out of his hat with a legit holy shit moment as he secures the catch, gets his feet down, and flips ass over tea kettle for the score. And I cannot be hyperbolic enough when stating, this is one of the most insane catches I've ever seen, and there is a reason they call this dude the Alien. Incredible. Can't get the 2, but the Steelers are up 15-0. In a game where flags would tell the story, the Bengals are given renewed life with a face mask at midfield followed by a 3rd down conversion, and suddenly Cincinnati is in rhythm. Check out Ryan Shazier's speed on this blitz, just incredible. I know he's unblocked, but man, we were in for a special career with that guy. Fateful sequence ensues as the same number 50 makes a badass play on an open field tackle on Gio Bernard and knocks the ball loose. I don't want to point out the obvious, but I have to. This is at least the 2nd time in this game alone that Ryan lowered his helmet at full speed, and it's hard to watch when you know what the future holds. Turnover stands and the Steelers take over, but this game is dangerously close to getting out of control. I'll let Tracy Wolfson update you.
Specifically Vontaze Burfict. He is out of control right now. The coaches, Marvin Lewis coming over trying to hold him back. He just went back on the field, but he got in the officials' faces twice so far during this game. I watched him pregame. He was all fired up.
3rd and 18 now, and Ben holds on to it for way too long, and the aforementioned psychopath Vontaze Burfict is able to get to him for a brutal sack, and that's the last guy you want near your quarterback. Burfict takes him down with his full body weight atop Ben, driving his throwing shoulder right into the turf, and because he's classy, adds a little knee at the end. What a great guy. Ben gets pelted with a Bud Light can by a lovely Cincinnati native on his way out, and we head into the 4th quarter with this game and season officially altered. McCarron does his best Joe Flacco impression here by chucking up a long ball which draws a PI on Will Allen, and suddenly you can feel the momentum shifting, and it's not a good thing if you wear black and gold. Hill runs it in on 2nd and goal, and I'm not sure I could utter worse words to Steelers fans than Landry Jones enters a playoff game on the road, but that's exactly what we get. Still, it's Todman unbelievably gashing the Bengals for another chunk out to midfield, but Landry promptly loses about 50 yards on a sack, and this drive is dead in the water. Over to the defense now, and without their quarterback, it's up to them to preserve this smaller than it should be lead. Right on cue, it's Mike Mitchell again paying zero attention to an overthrown ball and again giving himself zero chance to make a play on a ball that floats right by him. 3rd and 9, and it's one of those moments where you start to wonder if things just aren't going to go your way. McCarron hits Eifert, who makes an unbelievable diving catch for their biggest conversion of the day. 3rd and 8 though, and it's another great hustle play by old man Debo to take Burkhead down in the open field and force a field goal attempt. Steelers 15, Bengals 10. Sigh of relief here as Tracy gives us a great tease.
That's right, Jim. We saw him go directly into the x-ray room. He spent about 10 minutes inside there, and then he was carted out without his pads, no sling on whatsoever, into the locker room. They made arrangements to get his pads and everything back on, and I was told he's coming back out and going to try and get back out there, guys.
But apparently the meds haven't kicked in yet, and Landry is unbelievably still in there. 3rd and 4, he just can't get enough behind it to give AB a chance, and with 3:44 left, the Steelers are forced to punt. As you're well aware, it's almost never good when we see a punt on 5-star matchup, and that holds true here as Pac-Man gobbles a power pellet and shoots through the middle of the field, and any Steelers fan who's being honest with themselves got a real bad feeling right about now. Huge moment here for the Bengals, who convert a 4th and 1 that completely changes this game. Looks like Timmons takes the wrong man, and the Bengals are in business. 3rd and 7, and a weak 4-man rush gets nowhere near McCarron, and he fires a laser down the field to AJ Green, who goes up to get it and takes it in for the lead off a missed tackle by, who else, Mike Mitchell. While I blame this play on the weak pass rush more than anything, I can't help but point out again that Mike Mitchell had no one else near his side of the field and was both completely unable to stop this pass or even make a real attempt at the tackle. Hate to go completely in on a guy. Wait, not when it's him. He was awful and I don't feel bad saying it. Look at Willie Gay's face as number 23 tries to explain his terrible play. Steelers stand up on the 2, but the Bengals are now out in front, 16-15. I guess the pain pills still haven't kicked in as it's Landry Jones again, and speaking of getting kicked in, it's a kick in the groin for Steelers fans everywhere when he throws a terrible pick to the very same man who injured our hero earlier, and the supposedly bad Mama Jamma runs off the field and snarls as though he's just made the biggest play of his career to win the Super Bowl. Which, fortunately for him, the first part of that is true, but fortunately for the Steelers, it wouldn't even seal this one. Very next play, it's a handoff to the guy I told you to remember, Jeremy Hill, and who else but Ryan f***ing Shazier yanks that sumbitch out of there and Cockrell scoops it for the turnover. Just an absolutely epic moment by number 50, who was a bad dude on the inside of that defense. He was really the only game changer on the D at this time, and he went ahead and changed the damn game. A moment I, and hopefully you, will never forget.
Ben Roethlisberger trots onto the field.
And right on cue, Jim Nantz utters a phrase that might as well be, and Superman trots onto the field. And the man we call Large Benjamin throws on his cape with a minute 23 left on the clock and a bad shoulder. Does he have enough? Catch and run to Marty B gets the drive started, and Jeremy Hill's face says it all. 3rd and 1, and he's gotta have it, so Big Ben escapes the pocket and lofts one to Fitz Toussaint, who makes an awesome grab for the conversion and gets out of bounds. Reminds me a little of a certain catch Anthony McFarland couldn't make a few weeks ago in 2020. 1st and 10, and you can tell me there are better quarterbacks than 7, but don't ever tell me there are tougher quarterbacks than him, because Roethlisberger stands in with no fear to get rid of this one and take a shot despite his obviously painful injury. 3rd and 7 now, and the Steelers' backs are against the wall with 32 seconds to go. They decide to try and catch the Bengals off guard with a run to Fitz Toussaint, who's got a huge hole but just barely gets tripped up. As if this game needed any more drama, we set up a gigantic 4th and 3 with the chance to permanently shift the balance of power in the AFC North. You already know where he's going, and hate him all you want, it's Antonio Brown saving the day with an absolutely filthy route to convert and grab the first. Steelers have a pulse, and that sets up our
5-star play of the game.
Shotgun, protector to his right. Heath Miller settles back as a wingback left. Ben gets the shotgun snap. He throws the ball down the field. It's overthrown, incomplete at the 34-yard line.
There's a penalty.
And a penalty marker down.
That is huge.
A penalty marker down. And Antonio Brown is down.
And that was a defenseless player. He is knocked out. Unbelievable.
So this is one of the most bizarre plays in Steelers history, and it's going to take a little unpacking. First, you have one of the most brutal hits to the head I've ever seen by a player in Vontaze Burfict that was so out of control after injuring Roethlisberger and getting what should have been a game-clinching interception. But because karma is real, he lowers the shoulder and attempts to cause a great deal of physical harm to Antonio Brown's head when he had almost no chance to catch it. This is the difference between hard and dirty. The ball was very clearly not caught, and a 255-pound man launched himself full speed into another man's head. Don't tell me he messed up. Don't tell me it was a Grammy-winning performance by AB. This was a grotesque hit that could have, hell, if you ask a lot of Steelers fans, it did, cause legitimate brain damage to its target. To top it all off, there's an extra 15 added for Pac-Man charging and possibly swinging at Joey Porter. And in one fateful play, the Steelers move from the 47 to the 17. And just as this game is irreversibly altered, so are the lives of countless players and coaches involved in this one. Baby Boss smacks it through, and in one of the wildest games in Steelers, Bengals, and NFL playoff history, the Steelers eke out an 18-16 win on the road against a vicious rival. There aren't many games I can recall feeling both that it would be impossible to lose and impossible to win, all to see it flipped one last time on a play that couldn't make any more sense if you understood the context of this rivalry at this point in time. If I could leave you with one lasting thought from this game, look at the key players: Ryan Shazier, Antonio Brown, Jeremy Hill, Martavis Bryant, Vontaze Burfict. This game was less than 5 years ago, and I don't think I have to point out to you that none of these guys are even in the league anymore, unless you count the ghost of AB. My point being, appreciate the team that's in front of you, despite their flaws. Because in 5 more years, your past disappointments might just be your present's aspirations. Time to beat the Bengals one more time. Here we go.
We won this game. I'm happy.
Appreciate it. Congratulations.